What is up, Top Shot Nation? Very excited for today. We are going to be breaking down the Series 3 base set release 4 moments. Lots of great ones in this drop, and excited to see you in the queue. I'm joined today by my right-hand man, Austin Kent, our content lead, who's done an unbelievable job curating these moments. How you doing, Austin?
Doing great, doing great. Happy to be able to add more to this base set. It's probably been the most fun I've had building out a base set. I'm excited to talk about them.
Absolutely. Without further ado, we've got 25 new moments coming to Top Shot. And let's just start at the top here. We've got a former NBA champion, Damian Jones, now in Sacramento with the vicious hammer.
Yeah, I love seeing him. I love the slow-mo as he, tucks it past Nurkic up there. Not a bad way to get one past the rim protector.
Yeah, Damian Jones coming out of school, his reputation was one of the most athletic specimens that will be in the NBA, and certainly living up to that. He gets up high. Nurkic, pretty decent rim protector, just didn't stand a chance here.
Yeah, no, he'll get you like that.
Next up, we got former Sacramento King, George Hill, back with Milwaukee. And this one's one of the most impressive shots in the drop. Buzzer beater expiring in the corner. What have you seen from George Hill in his return to Milwaukee?
I think they know exactly what they're going to get with George Hill. It's a vet that isn't going to need to be sort of featured heavily on a consistent basis. But, if a night happens where they need him to step up, and this night I think he finished with 16 points, that's exactly what he's there for. If he can spell the main guys, it just takes some pressure off here and there. I think the Bucks will be incredibly happy with that. And leave it to a vet to sort of complete that awkward off-balance shot. I love to see that one.
Now, another guard that changed teams this offseason. We have Landry Shamet, who's showing out in Phoenix. Here we see Landry, better known for his offense, but here we see him showing up big time on the defensive end.
I love this. This is when I watch this play, it's just like a sign of timing it right and just fully committing to the block, and that's a big thing to do against Kenyon Martin Jr. I love to see Shamet challenge like that, and it's fun to get a block moment for the 3-point specialist.
Yeah, Phoenix, the team with the most continuity from last season to this season. Of course, Phoenix made the finals last year and has been on quite a tear to start the year. But Shamet has really integrated nicely as one of the very few additions to their rotation since last season. Moving ahead, we got Ivica Zubac, a very active top shot collector. And here we see Zubac just kind of showing off the great passing that he's a little underrated for.
Yeah, Zubac is such a fun addition to the Top Shot community because he pumps out really kind of awesome highlights consistently. Most of them are dunks or blocks, but to see him have fun with the ball as a playmaker is always nice to see. I love watching Zubac.
Next up, we've got Indiana's Malcolm Brogdon, one of my favorite players in the league, future potential president of the United States based on just how smart this guy is. And here we see him beating his defender off the dribble, Lonzo Ball at that, finishing high up off the glass for the buzzer beater. Nice find here, Austin.
Yeah, I love those crafty vet moves, as I say. And this is at the end of the half. He's just playing the clock like a total vet. And like you said, Lonzo Ball guarding him, no slouch as a perimeter defender, of course. But just the way he can play those angles and get that, casual little scoop shot, I love it without breaking a sweat.
Next up, we've got one of the fan favorites of NBA history. Doesn't get a ton of minutes on the floor, but when he does, he is prone to having epic rejections like this one. We've got Tacko Fall making his name heard in Cleveland.
I love look at how far this goes. Just a classic, swatted into the third row rejection from Taco Fall. It's as fun watching anytime you get a glimpse of the Fall cameo. It's as fun in Cleveland as it was in Boston.
Next up, we've got Lonnie Walker the fourth, one of the best athletes in the entire NBA. And here we see some nifty ball. This is the John Wall for you, finishing up high up off glass. This is an impressive move.
Yeah, I love to see the creativity that Lonnie Walker can do, whether he's in the air or just with the ball in his hands, period, dribbling. He's always been a fun scorer to watch ever since college. So to see him sort of seize on an opportunity at the end of a quarter here, it's fun to see.
Next up, we've got former Nick, once a Nick, always a Nick, sixth overall pick in, I believe it was the 2008 NBA draft, Danilo Gallinari. Here we see him channeling his Italian days as a point guard, hoisting up a half quarter.
Yeah, I love this. Officially listed as a 48 footer in the game log. Gallinari, he's good at hitting deep threes. We've got deep threes from Gallo on the platform already, but this is the deepest one yet. Just no big deal for the vet.
Next up, we've got Seth Curry, still criminally underrated, one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA, in small part because his brother happens to be the best shooter in NBA history. But here's Seth creating space off the dribble, pump faking, and then just using his wit off ball, creating a backdoor give and go, and finishing at the cup.
Yeah, it is absolutely exhausting to guard any Curry brothers. Whether it's Steph, whether it's Seth, they'll be running all over the floor. Good luck keeping up with that. And Seth has just been incredible for the Sixers this season. He's averaging 16 points, and he's top 20 points 8 times already. And we're obviously just in early December. But to see Seth really kind of continue to get better and better as a legitimate, scoring option for some good teams. It's fun to see. Seth takes some of that credit. Obviously, big brother Steph gets most of that, but Seth is for real.
Yeah, interesting to think about that degree of separation. Sixers go from Jimmy Butler to Josh Richardson to Seth Curry, and Seth Curry now fitting in quite well in Philly. Next up, we've got another brother of a more famous player. We got Thanasis Antetokounmpo. How can you not root for this guy? Just he plays with so much passion. He's a great brother to Giannis, and here we see him with the two-hand thunder.
Yeah, what a positive force just to round out your rotation with. All playoffs we watched Thanasis giving Giannis sort of pump up pep talks over the course of the games. But he can just bring energy to the whole stadium just with his play alone, and big dunks like that, epic rim hangs like that are always welcomed.
Yeah, once a Nick, always a Nick, once again. And speaking of Knicks, we've got Obi Toppin next up here. Obi Toppin in his sophomore year has really, really taken a leap. And he's always been known as a dunker, but you'll see here just the double clutch throwdown, driving baseline. I've loved to see his progression, and I'll credit. He played horse with some top shot collectors over the summer. And I think ever since that day, he really just has taken that leap.
Yeah, it was a real eye opener about how far he had to come. Hence the sophomore, leap here. He's pumped out a bunch of memorable plays so far this season, and we've been sort of looking at all these top end dunks and plays that we have, and trying to figure out the best place for them. And when I saw this one where he just sort of cranes the ball away from the defender and still finishes it, not too many people have the sort of hang time to pull that off. So happy to get your top end base set debut for this series at least.
I love it. And a little John Collins-esque with that double clutch. Speaking of John Collins, another big man on the Atlanta Hawks. Next up, we've got Clint Capela. Capela has been one of the best rim protectors in the NBA for more than half a decade at this point. And here we see Kelly Oubre trying to challenge him, and Capela says, no, no, no.
Yeah, I love this. Capela, what a force for the Hawks. Such a big part of what they've been able to do, recently. 2015 in this game, but it's the epic block that does it for me. This is a pretty aggressive attempt from Oubre, and for Capela to get on it and get on it cleanly like this is definitely a fun moment to watch.
We love to see the slow-mo. Awesome highlight right there. Next up, we've got another active top shot collector in Josh Hart. Josh Hart, Mr. Do-It-All for the Pelicans. And here we see him soaring in unchecked, and the nice putback. A little Landry Fields for you Knick fans out there that remember he would do this all the time. Josh Hart, just still criminally underrated. And I hope one day in the not too distant future, we see him getting to show out for a playoff team.
Yeah, what a fun player to watch. Just an incredible rebounder at his position, 6'5". He's averaged 8 boards last year, a bit less this year, but he's always reading the rims, and he's just going for it. So happy to be able to see him pull off a putback like that.
Now, I mentioned John Collins earlier with regard to Obi Toppin, but here's John Collins for real. John Collins, of course, he could have a top shot moment every single night, and what this guy can do, it's just mind-blowing. Here we see him climbing the ladder, epic throwdown. Yeah, you don't want to be on the defensive end of this.
Not at all. You nailed it. Nail on the head there that Collins could have a moment every game. So we got to be selective about this, but I love the thumbnail on this one, and I love the reaction not only from Collins himself, but also from Trae Young. You know, they know what they did as soon as he does it. It's always fun to see. 11 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, and 5 blocks for Collins in this one. What a fun team.
They are fun. Speaking of fun teams, arguably the pull of the entire drop, we've got Steph Curry's first base set moment in Series 2, and this is just what Steph does. Nonstop action, frenetic pace, pass, chase, run. Similar to Seth in this case, that it's a give and go, but the distance at which Steph's finishing his give and go is a little different.
Yeah, if there was ever any doubt that Steph was announcing his return to the MVP conversation, you know, it got answered pretty quickly in this season. Steph had a triple-double in the opener. This isn't the opener. It's their home opener, his second game of the season. Finished with 45 points. Twitter was in love with this game, and I don't blame them because Steph hit his first 10 field goals and finished with 25 points in the first quarter. Steph is back. The Warriors are back, and what a nice, fun thumbnail to honor it.
I also love these alternate jerseys. I think the Warriors in general have probably the nicest jerseys in the entire league, just from top to bottom. Everything that they wear, it looks super clean. And, you know, it's been interesting to see this season. They've rocked these. I think it's an homage to the 70s, and they look really nice.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent, not one known for throwdowns, but here we see him climbing the ladder. He's been a big, big boon to Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra down in Miami.
Yeah, what we love about the Heat is that sort of next man up mentality. Anybody can produce on any given night. This is Gabe Vincent's Top Shot debut, so this one will be minted to 12K. It was a season high 18 points for him, and I was all excited about getting this season high on the platform, but he one-upped himself. He got 20 points the other night as well. But to see Vincent throw it down like this is fun, and it's nice to get him onto the platform.
Next up, we've got another Top Shot collector, Cory Joseph, NBA champion and pride of Canada. And here we see the circus shot finish. Man, does this even hit net on the way down? Just clean right through.
Yeah, I love this one. Love that sort of above the basket angle. Cory Joseph has been just such a valuable sort of rotation cog, basically anywhere he's gone, and he's been with Detroit since partway through last season. But we're happy to finally get him in here. Like he's doing work for the Pistons, a young team off the bench. Finished with 9 points and 9 dimes in this one, and I love seeing the and one there on PJ Tucker.
Moving ahead here, we've got D'Angelo Russell. He has been playing pretty well since coming back. The Wolves obviously have been on a bit of a roll after a somewhat slow start to the year. And this is just D'Lo doing what D'Lo does best, breaking down the defense, very shifty, nice lefty finish.
Yeah, I do not envy Duncan Robinson or anybody who has to stay in front of D'Angelo Russell. Like this makes my knees hurt just thinking about trying to guard Russell. This is the first of our limited edition minted to 9,999 in this drop. D'Lo is just such a fun ball handler to watch anywhere he goes, and that's certainly the case in Minnesota. Got 20 points in this one too.
Moving ahead from one of the best offensive guards in the league to one of the best defensive guards in the league. We've got Dejounte Murray, who's having a breakout year. A little hard to say he's having a breakout year because, he's already made an all-NBA defensive team or second team a few years back. But back from injury, he's been unbelievable on both ends. Last I checked, he's in the top 5 in assists, putting up close to 20 points per game as well. Great moment here.
Yeah, a great defensive moment from such a fun defensive player. But he wasn't just all defense in this game, like you said. He's a playmaker. He got a triple-double in this game. I'm happy to see a Dejounte Murray steal on the platform. And it's just always fun to be able to honor those triple-double performances.
Now we're into the all-star territory. We touched on Steph earlier. We got back-to-back all-stars here. Let's start with Domantas Sabonis. Overall, one of the best passing big men. Obviously, his dad known for being, if not the best, one of the best passing big men of all time. And Apple doesn't fall far from the tree here, hitting a cutting Torrey Craig.
Yeah, I love the Arvidas-esque, palming the ball fake into the behind the back is always, I just can't imagine being able to pull that off in an NBA game. To have that vision, to have that hand size, and to be able to pull it off that seamlessly is always, just a sight to behold. 20 and 10 for Sabonis, pretty standard stat line for the All-Star, 6 assists.
Now, got tagged in a message earlier on Twitter. I want to run it to you, Austin. Fake trade, obviously a screenshot of the trade machine. We had Sabonis going to Golden State for Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody. Who says no?
I would think that the Pacers would say no to that one. If I was Golden State, and I think I saw the posters you're talking about. If I was Golden State, I would do that because I want Domantas Sabonis on my team. I don't know that the Warriors would do that, just because they have famously sort of stuck with their guys because they know that they can develop them. So I don't expect that the Warriors would say yes to that. But if I was the GM, I would do it in a heartbeat because I'm a big Sabonis fan. What about you?
If I'm the Warriors, I'm giving a lot of thought about giving up Moody in the deal. I think Kuminga and Wiseman, just based on where they were drafted and their upside, might be enough to get it done. And if you need some cap filler to get the trade done, I think Moody at 19 years old just fits on a team for the next 10 years. He can stand in the corner. He doesn't have the upside or star power of the other two. But that's the one I'm kind of thinking on. But at the end of the day, I think both teams should say yes to that. It gives, and the other interesting angle of it is you can replace Sabonis with Miles Turner, and it's equally compelling for the Warriors, just for what Miles Turner brings to the team. But yeah, I agree with you. Sabonis, especially as a passer, he just fits in so perfectly. And if there's a knock on the Warriors, it's how do they stack up with bigs against the powerhouses in the West? Sabonis helps answer that question. So anyway, just a fun fake trade from the Top Shot community. Hat tip to the collector that tagged us into it. Apologies, I'm not remembering name off top, but very fun conversation and good fake trade there. Moving ahead, we got the other All-Star, PG-13, Paul George, who is on one this year. I think if the season ended today, he'd be in the top 10 for MVP. And this is just what Paul George does. From the baseline, in the corner, hitting a very nice buzzer beater.
Yeah, and it's so fun to watch. Paul George kind of feels like he's just always on a revenge tour because he's always, getting unnecessary flack. This is a 3 that forced overtime against the Mavs. They didn't end up winning the game. The Mavs won it in OT. But it's just such a nice move. Few humans can do this, but Paul George is one of them. And it's fun to see him, just power this team in the absence, obviously, of Kawhi Leonard. Paul George is for real, and I think he's reminding people why this season.
Yeah, we saw it in OKC. I think the thing about Paul George that's interesting and honestly has probably hurt his career reputation is that he's willing to be Robin to someone else's Batman, but he's best as Batman, as are most superstars. So he's had trouble at times fitting in, be it with Westbrook at times with OKC, though they were relatively successful in the regular season. And, of course, in LA, playing alongside Kawhi, not always the easiest. As dominant as Kawhi is, it's hard for a superstar to learn how to play off ball pretty consistently. And just because Paul George is such an effective spot up shooter, he's kind of thrust into that role more than he's probably most comfortable being. So hat tip to Paul George, another collector on Top Shot. Awesome to see his Series 3 base set moment, the first moment of Series 3, make it in. All right, time for some rookies. We got 4 of them, Austin, and 2 of them are probably going to make the all-rookie first or second team. We're going to start with Alperen Şengün of the Houston Rockets. Talk to me a bit about his game.
He does a little bit of everything. It's just incredible to see what he's comfortable doing on the floor as a passer, as a dunker. Not his first bucket in this one, but it was just too nice of a putback dunk to ignore from his debut game. He's a fun player to watch, and he's in such a fun situation. In his debut, he dropped 11 points to 6 boards, and he's averaging, his season averages are just a bit below that. I think the Rockets really, got a steal where they got him, and are happy to really see what they have in their hands there with a very high ceiling international prospect.
Never hurts to have 4 first-round picks, and Şengün kind of reminds me a little bit of a guy we just touched on, Domantas Sabonis. Great passer, super skilled on the interior, great footwork. European big men, there's something in the water in Europe because they come to the NBA so prepared to just finesse their way through. And here we see Şengün in his debut with the putback dunk. That's that takes some courage for what is he, 19 or 20 years old to do. Next up, we've got another young European prospect. This is Franz Wagner, who is an early candidate for Rookie of the Year. I don't know if he'll get there, but all rookie first team is definitely within sights as long as he keeps this up.
Yeah, he's been incredible for the Magic and has thrown down like multiple very memorable dunks so far this season. And so it's not surprising that he got one in his debut as well. He's just been great for the Magic. And what a fun team to watch Orlando is this year. 12 points, 4 boards in his debut. His averages are even higher than that. He's averaging 13.6 points. I agree with you. Like, I think he deserves a spotlight in that Rookie of the Year conversation. I don't know that he'll get there, but he's certainly, I think, exceeded expectations, and people are having just a lot of fun seeing what he's going to do next.
Yeah, I was actually at the Magic Cavaliers game about a week ago, and just seeing Franz and Mo chatting on the court, brothers. Franz wears 22, Mo wears 21. Just imagine being the parents of those guys coming over. Different country. They end up on the same team and they're both playing significant minutes. Now, you mentioned the Magic are fun. They don't win the most games, but they are a fun team to watch. They've got a lot of guys that have high upside. So a team on the rise over the next few years for sure. Next up, we've got Greg Brown, who earlier in the season had arguably the biggest dunk of the year. I'm sure you're going to see that on Top Shot later in the season. But here we have one from his debut game. Massive throwdown. Frank Kaminsky didn't stand a chance, and here we see him hanging on the rim with a little flex.
Yeah, I love it. What a way to announce yourself to the NBA. Greg Brown III. This is his first bucket, his first NBA bucket in his debut game. It's a nice little dunk, and yet clearly we've seen a lot of Brown III highlights since, particularly that East Bay funk dunk that happened just a couple days ago. But we love getting those 3-star rookie moments out here minted to 4K. Happy to have Greg Brown on the platform.
Last but certainly not least, we've got Tre Mann out of OKC. He's been on a tear of late, and he's just a fun player to watch. He's got a lot of athleticism, and here we see a nice little perimeter stroke.
Yeah, this is another first career bucket, and this is an interesting one because it was called a 3 on the floor, but later reviewed to be just a 2-pointer. His foot was on the line. But he finished with 9 points in his debut, including this nice little jump shot at the end of, I think it's at the end of the first quarter.
There you have it, folks. 25 new moments making it into the base set. We got 4 rookies. We got Steph Curry. We've got Domantas Sabonis. We got Paul George. This is going to be a loaded drop. Looking forward to seeing you in the queues on Tuesday. Austin, any editor's notes before we wrap up here?
It was just a blast to put another drop together. We've been slowly making our way through what's turned out to be quite a fascinating rookie class, and we'll continue to make our way through that, over the coming drops. But happy to get a lot of these guys into the platform, some for the first time. And it's just a blast to put together. And as always, if you see something that you think is Top Shot worthy, then use that NBA Top Shot this hashtag on Twitter and make sure we all hear about it. We'd love to hear that.
Absolutely. There you have it, everyone. Base set release 4 coming at you on Tuesday. Until next time, happy collecting.